Hello, everyone. I wanted to come on here and do a brief update. See if I can get the tripod going a little differently. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I have returned from my Watsu training on September 10th on that night. And since then, I've yet to completely unpack or decompress or really take time for myself, which is why I think I'm ending up as under the weather as I am. And I'm a little behind in uploading some of the videos from the traveling and kind of still processing a lot of information that came up from the experience of Watsu itself, which I'm very, very grateful for, reminding me what I am still to work on. And it's just been we could almost call it a blooming process, almost like a flower expressing itself and blooming. And it's been rather challenging having to sit with myself and be really present with some of my emotions and some flashbacks even from past experiences that many times I have dissociated from and pushed away and ignored and told myself it didn't matter and it wasn't a big deal. And now in my today experience, the way I've come to understand it from a book called The Body Keeps the Score, basically my brain and my body cannot tell that I'm no longer in that past experience. So therefore my now experience is perceived to be that I am still there. Therefore the body can go into fawning, freezing, fighting, or flight, running. And in my process of meditation and mindfulness, I am doing my best to remain in the witness state and to hold space and compassion and deep reverence and understanding of where I'm at, instead of kicking myself, telling myself that it is important that we get up and keep going, because the whole nervous system is communicating and sending signals. And instead of getting lost in the story, part of my experience right now is also honoring where I'm at without words. So I thought it would be useful to come to a place such as this, in other words, my piano, and kind of get lost in the nonverbal state and attempting to communicate or express or release emotional aspects, emotional debris. We all have different words and use of language to communicate with our network, our collective. I'm very grateful for those who are able to understand me and that are not transactional relationships or conditional, meaning maybe I can make up a cheesy example. Are you a viewer who is here only under the condition if there is underwater content? Or is there unconditional love and acceptance that no matter how messy the room is or what objects are around, that there's no judgment and that there is only love and affection and acceptance? And again, this is not always best done in verbal state, because the narrator, the talker in our head, will always want to tell a good story about ourselves. Therefore, we may not identify being a person who is a transactional relationship kind of person. However, if you take the time to study what is a transactional relationship, you may find that you are very conditional in your relationships, and not just your business relationships, however, also your sentimental ones, which can be family, relatives, friends, family, personal, romantic. There are many different shades, we can say. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for joining this live stream. And hello, Stephen. I see you here in the comments. Thank you again for joining. Yes. There's so many other subjects I'm interested in covering on this channel. Just when I'm in a state of being unhealthy, in this particular case, we can say allergies or possibly a cold. I've been having this experience where my eyes are watering, and this first started happening when I am in the Watsu training. That's WATSU if you're interested in studying the beautiful healing that is available through this interesting modality that is shiatsu in the water. I'm so grateful to have become a facilitator in this practice, and I'm most interested in continuing my education in this practice. However, with the laws and the regulations and the way things are changing very rapidly, in order for me to charge for this process, which as many of us are not really comfortable, and many of us are also those who may really worship and identify and love money, I am noticing that in order for me to continue this practice in a way that is charging, I am going to need to get a license to become a massage therapist, which gives me permission to have a license to touch. Now, in other times and in other states or countries, we can have a minister's license. You can be a reverend, and then through being a reverend, you can have permission to touch and to provide healing. This can be through healing touch or prayer, or this includes using crystals. It's very interesting to study the legalities and all those different aspects. So I am currently looking into the potential of becoming a licensed massage therapist, mainly because I am interested in continuing taking the classes. And unless I am in the process of going to school, the teachers will not grant permission for me to continue learning. And as many of you know, if you've been around here for a long time, my wish and my dream is to never stop learning. So if I can go to school and have all the degrees, you can say, just to really learn and attain all the wisdom of being a psychologist or a sex therapist, or even a little bit of neuroscience, I would absolutely be interested in. However, in order to do that, one requires to take the basic courses, which includes algebra and many other minute classes in order to get the prerequisites so that we can get our bachelor's or a associate's degree, should I say, either an associate in art or associates in science. So that is going to be a process that I'm interested in pursuing. So possibly checking out some local colleges and seeing what is available to me, since I have recently become a Washington citizen or resident. Therefore, I am no longer required to pay out-of-state tuition. So in the Watsu training, it brought up a lot of, we could call them separation wounds. The process is called, let me remember, unconditional holding, meaning that I'm going to hold you unconditionally. Of course, with consent. And it's a almost practice of unconditional love. I would love to read some material on this, like actual handbook, and I'm very curious on what books have already been written. And I have heard through the grapevine that there will be a book coming out soon that is going to mention trauma specifically, which is another great subject of interest of mine from what I have witnessed in my own personal body and my own personal experience of having experienced many different relationships and unions with individuals, which can be moments of psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and some could say spiritual abuse by not allowing me to be my own person and my own spirit and granting me freedom, instead choosing the role that you want me to be. And that's been a process. I'm not even certain that that completely came out correctly, verbally. So perhaps that's a talk for another time. And returning back to the conversation of Watsu, um, I am a person who always keeps her eyes open underwater. It's something that I have great pleasure for, and my happy place has always been in the water. And the Watsu um, creates this returning to the womb feeling and creates this deep, intimate place. So if you are a person who has experienced certain traumas that has you in a state of emotion that feels like I am unlovable or I'm no good or nobody cares, having someone hold you in this unconditional way can really, really be alarming to the nervous system because it can create all kinds of uncomfortable feelings, and recognizing in the witness state what kind of thought patterns are coming up while we are being held in this way. And also, the body is a very intelligent device, which is locking in keys and memories and information, not just in your personal life and the many years that you have lived. However, it also contains all of the epigenetic memory, which means the ancestral memory. And the best way to explain that, I've told this story many times, so I am apologizing in advance if you have already heard this significant research. There was a study done on rats where they electrocuted the pregnant mother rats each time they smelled cherries. And when the babies are born, they immediately pull them from the cage. And even though the babies had never been electrocuted, when they are introduced to the stimulus of the smell of the cherries, they eradicate in fear. They continued to breed these rodents. And for 14 breeds, 14 generations, they were able to trace this trauma response to the smell of cherries. So just imagine how many people in your family made love before you existed. And then try to vision that this memory is locked into the stones of your bones. I can thank my teacher, who under her I have become a Reiki master, Heather. Stoned in your bones. This is from Heather of St. Augustine. Thank you, Heather, for holding space for this conversation. So, also when I'm in Watsu, since I'm keeping my eyes open underwater, the pool had been treated with particular kinds of, you could say, chemicals or just adjustments, and I ended up having a complete allergic reaction to these sensitivities. So therefore I was sneezing, and not only that, but all of the suppressed crying and anger and all of those difficult emotions that I am often attempting to pull myself together so that I can keep going. Survival. It was very challenging, and I'm very grateful for my teacher, for she was very well in her practice and being able to hold the space and to be the facilitator for not just me, but the entire group. And that was very meaningful to me, that I did not disturb the rest of the class because of what was coming up for me personally in my own intimacy and bonding issues, which possibly I will discuss at another time. What else I'm imagining is it might be important for me to journal these things before my memory is blocking them out and suppressed from my conscious mind, and really taking time to process that data and information that came up for me. So since I came home, literally on September 11th, I immediately went to a women's retreat, which was going on the entire time I was gone at the Watsu training. And I was grateful for the one day I did get to make it and be a participant with all the wonderful elders and women who were there. And all of them cooking together and just teaching such a wonderful way of living out at this beautiful cabin, a log home. I have come to know that it's called log homes. Oh my god, log homes are so cool. Such a miracle to be there. However, for me, it was also hard because I had just had so much trauma come up and so much data I hadn't processed and unpacked and decompressed, you could say. And so here I am immersing myself into this women's retreat and socializing. And then after that, many people had reached out to me and wanted my time and my attention. And if you know me, you know I love to serve. I live to serve. Absolute Seva, which means selfless service. So therefore, I ended up in all these different situations where um, I'm really into internal family systems, so if you're new here, you might wanna study what that is. So instead of compartmentalizing different parts of ourselves, we kind of, work with it in a different way. So I wanted to instantly say my inner child. So my inner child, baby Trina, inside is angry and shutting down because she needs a bath, and she needs hot tea, and she needs all these things, and I'm not listening to myself and my personal needs, and therefore I am getting internally upset and swept off kilter, we can say, from my personal center because I am choosing to address everyone else as my center and keeping myself distracted by continuing to give sessions and um, advice or guidance, counseling, if you will. Um, Perhaps counseling is not the appropriate word. I will have to study what does counsel mean? Maybe ministering might be a little bit better. It's like nurturing to the soul and also like let's say you're struggling to make a decision and I'm helping you see something that you might not see or know because my brain thinks a little bit differently, especially when I'm operating from the heart space and not so much from a like objective or subjective state of mind. Um, and so now, yesterday, I basically started to have like all of those allergic reactions again that I did to the chemicals in the water. What I did notice is that it came up after I had washed the bathtub really good with some soap scum spray. So I wonder if there's some type of like correlation to the chemicals, or who knows what's really happening. It could also be an exterior wind cold, which in traditional Chinese medicine, it means like if um, let's say we're in our natural body temperature and then suddenly we go outside and it's really cold. It's like a drastic shift. That's called an exterior wind cold. So we kind of get like dampness or like little sickness. So now I've basically pushed myself so much that like I've made myself a little bit sicky and therefore I'm unable to perform and do my normal task and I'm basically forced to take this time for myself, which we can say God is a comedian or just this is all a little bit ironic. Um, I'm going to check the comments for a moment. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, Michael Cooney. Hello, Wayne McFarland. I'm doing the best that I can. Something else that I really wanted to come here and do is to play with my piano one more time. The piano is scheduled to be tuned. I'm very grateful for my first piano. I've always wanted one. And I do think that instruments kind of have a sacred beauty to them. So even when they're not tuned, I really, really love to try to make a really beautiful song out of the discord, out of the chaos. I kind of find it to be a very meditative practice and also a way to kind of communicate non-verbally. So that's kind of always interesting and fun for me. So, as the sick Trina that I am, I'm going to turn around and to begin to play. I have not yet, I'm not fully certain I've settled on the name. I like the name Esmeralda for the name of the piano, and I'm definitely a little bit nervous of what the rate is going to be to tune the piano. To tune the piano. So they told me that it could be anywhere from like 170 to 250 bucks. So fins crossed, and either way, if it is 250, hopefully universe will bring back to me, and then when this piano gets passed on to someone else, they will be blessed with a tuned piano. And for right now, I'm just going to enjoy the now and the opportunity to give the piano the love and the tune that it needs. And I'm very grateful to the individual who is going to be tuning the piano. This person gave me all the advice I needed on the phone. They told me a quote of 250 for them to move my piano themselves, and then basically gave me all the advice on the phone on how they normally do it, and they've been doing it for like 15 years. So with their counsel, their guidance, their love, I was able to distinguish what to do, and so therefore we were able to move the piano by ourselves. So pay it forward, right? Some kind of universe blessing way. Please excuse me as I blow my nose. So this is Esmeralda. Let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. And we'll play a little bit with her. I should also tell you that I've never had a piano lesson in my life, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing, okay? Give yourself permission to play. Some of the keys you can also tell, like, oh my god, it needs to be tuned, but I'm still trying to work with it. Also trying to find my vibe, my mood. it totally needs a tuning. I think this piano is like 1912. That's what we were reading on the inside. Yeah, it's actually like sometimes I forget about these little, like the little keys. Like, I need to learn like proper hand formation. You're right, these are like the half notes, I think. Totally right, though. I need practice. Thank you, Stu. Unfortunately, that pool is only going to be open for a limited time. They're only going to be open until October, and they are being very iffy about when that final date is going to be. So there's no consistency if I'll have access to that pool until October 1st or October 19th. They also say once the weather drops a certain temperature, basically, that they are going to absolutely close the pool. So the weather has been kind of awkward here, you could say. There's been a lot of fires, and then the fires causes like the sun to be kind of like blocked out, and then there's like smoke and like ash and like things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Stu. I know. Can't we just have like a little bit of predictability or consistency? I need to like watch a YouTube video or something and figure out like how do you place your hands? Like what's the right way? Is there a right way? I messed up the ending, but I totally like what I was playing so far. Really, really love that. Oh, Stu, dude, Thank you. Laughter is like absolutely a sacred medicine. Yeah, I totally miss pianos too. You're so cute and funny. I also have a friend that goes by Possum Stew. His name is really Stew, and he used to bring me possums all the time when I lived in Florida. Yes, of course, Wayne. Wayne. I can't really play piano. I'm trying. I'll take classes one day. Ah, I wish I could like play that again. Like that would probably be the best benefit about learning how to play piano is being able to play like the same song more than just once. Grr. I also hate like excuse the word hate. I dislike. I dislike when I press this key when I want to press this key. I'm trying to just play with just these top keys or half notes. I also have like this thing that I'm noticing is like like I want to press the same key, but I've already been holding it down. So I need to like let it go instead of like holding it down because when I want to use it again, I'm already pressing down and I can't go to that key because I've just been locking it down. Or how about like when your hand messes up and you touch another key and you're like, oh my god, that just ruined the synchronicity? It's definitely a little bit sensory overload thing. Yeah, can you imagine if like doing like a new coat or like even changing the color? When I saw this piano, I was just like, oh my god, this thing's awesome. I just loved it so much. Yes, YouTube tutorials can kind of be challenging for me sometimes because like I struggle to follow instructions and sitting still. Thank you, Stu. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of practice. Oh yeah, the polished woodwork is like so beautiful, Michael. I'm totally with you. Like it's like it feels so good to the senses. I don't think I ever want to change the color if I'm honest. It does have some chippies and things like this. However, I'm just like that's just what makes it more beautiful. Hello, Hayden. And yes, 1912 is what it said on the inside. I also find it beautiful that like if you hold the key down, like it continues to go. Like versus like it doesn't like keep going. So I'm kind of like having fun playing with that. I could do this for like hours and hours and hours. Oh, yes, I'll have to look that up, Michael. We always have a lot of similar interest. Okay, so I'm going to play for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to go on an adventure. I need to get outside into the sunshine before it becomes too cold in my area to even be allowed to do that. As you can see, I'm already pretty cold. Another practice is like trying to go slow. It's like so natural for me to just like so I want to be able to slow down and really enjoy the harmony. Especially like when you want a key that's kind of far away. I'm trying to find like the balance of the in-between keys.
Okay. Aho mataki oyasin. Thank you for joining me and listening as I spoke freely in the opening of this video. If you are just now joining, perhaps you may choose to go back and hear and see what is going on with my personal life and my personal process. If not, that is okay too, for we are together here now. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste. Hush, hush. Whoosh. Yes, yes. Have a great night. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Oh my God, Michael, I'm going to bring this closer for you for a second. A lady friend of mine made this. I would like it to be completed. However, she insisted that she was done, so someone else would have to finish where she left off. But yes, I love the Starburst too. Ciao, I'm leaving for real now. Feel free to send a message if you'd like to talk more.